Hey church, it's Wednesday. I just thought we could take a few minutes to encourage one another. One of my sons had a very sobering view of reality this last week. He said every day kind of looks the same. We get up and we do homework and we eat lunch and do some more homework and read, and maybe we exercise and eat dinner, and then maybe a family game of croquet, and then it's back to bed and up again to do the same thing. There's not a whole lot of excitement from day to day, and life can get pretty sad. And so we're struggling to find joy. I know I am struggling to find joy. And so I just thought we could take a moment and encourage one another with that. Nehemiah 8:10 says this: "Go your way, eat the fat and drink sweet wine, and send portions to anyone who has nothing ready, for this day is holy to the Lord. And do not be grieved, for the joy of the Lord is our strength." That's what we want, isn't it? We want this kind of joy of the Lord. And so we have to look at the context for just a minute. He says, eat, drink, and serve others. Stop being sad. The joy of the Lord is your strength. And this is after Ezra had just read the Word of God, the whole law. And he said, look, this is what God is. This is who He's created us to be. This is how He's been faithful to us time and time again. And this is how we have failed over and over and over again. And God keeps saying, if you follow me and you live according to my law, everything's going to be all right. And yet they can't follow Him and live according to His law. And yet Ezra and Nehemiah say, stop crying and start feasting. That's where the joy comes from, that even in the midst of our unfaithfulness to God, He tells us to feast. And we see that ultimately in the cross, where we see that we can't follow God's rules and we mess up and we can't do what He asks us. And so He sends His Son to come for us, and He does everything that we should have done, and then He dies in our place. And Jesus says, because of all that, you feast in remembrance of me. Our feasting, our joy is not in what we have accomplished and what we can do or how righteous we are. It's always in the finished work of Christ, the finished work. It's been done. It's something that we believe and have faith in. This good news of the gospel. We can't stop sinning, but God is faithful in the midst of it. And this is the only type of joy that is going to last. Every other joy is fleeting. When the stay-at-home orders will be lifted, whether we get to keep our plans for the summer, when this pandemic is going to end, what the future is going to hold, all of that is temporary. Those are important things, but they're all temporary. We need this kind of rhythm that says this is what God demands of us. We can't do it, but Jesus, in His love for us, accomplished what we couldn't do and has set us up in forever perfection. And we live in that. This is the kind of joy that is indestructible. It's not determined by circumstances, how we wake up in the morning. It's always a thought or a prayer or a meditation or a phone call from a friend away that we live in. I'm not good enough, but God is, and He loves me. Church, the joy of the Lord is our strength.